Brian, we had a JP Morgan Chase, not Chase, JP Morgan, the fancy guys.
Yes.
Chase is like the Walmart branding of JP Morgan, the
Yes. These
banking.
are the guys on the top floor of the building.
This is just JP Morgan, the Wall Street guys. And they released a report here that I thought was pretty interesting. So these are their insights from their research team, and they have a housing market outlook. They also have an outlook on how some of the Trump policies so far, 30 days in, about 30 days, just over 30 days into the new administration, are taking shape, or if they've even started, what the impact in the future might be on housing. So the key takeaways from this report from JP Morgan's research was that they expect home prices to rise by 3% overall in 2025. Now, this will be a national number. For context, Connecticut has, outgrew 3% by, quite a bit in 2024. We're, depending on the county, we're close to double digits, 9 to 11% home price growth. JP Morgan says across the country, we expect 2025 to be 3%. Connecticut's one of those locations that they expect to grow more than 3% because of how low the inventory is in Connecticut. So we're number 50 out of 50 states in terms of active inventory based on pre-pandemic levels. So obviously less inventory pushes, and you have some demand, you push those prices up, et cetera. You know the deal there. So JP Morgan across the country saying home prices going up 3% across the country. The higher for longer interest rates. Here's key takeaway number 2. The higher for longer interest rate backdrop is here to stay, according to JP Morgan, with mortgage rates expected to ease only slightly to 6.7% by year end. We're at, I don't know, we broke the mental barrier a couple times this past week at, the high sixes on Mortgage News Daily, 695, 696, those type of numbers. Skelly, right?
Rates have been pretty consistent, and that's
They've
kind of
just
what.
been sitting at 7, basically. You can buy it under 7 for the
Yeah, here, I'll
mental.
throw a few numbers out here. So, February 14th, according to Mortgage News Daily, average 30-year was 6.96, ended this week at 6.96, and a month ago, January 21st, 7.08. So, there's a lot of, discussions about, how are, some of these new policies coming out of the White House going to affect the markets, and that's certainly a wild card that really may not play out for a long time. But recently, I mean, it's been very consistent and pretty stable, and there's just not a lot of exciting news about mortgage rates changing. So it's just around 7.
Yeah, all of 2025, that's been the story. JP Morgan projects that it will ease slightly throughout the year, but it's going to end the year at 6.7. Right now, if I'm a super qualified buyer, Brian, and the rates are 696, could I buy my rate down with you to about 6.7, 6.75? Could I buy it down right now today?
You can, and so that's sometimes what people call paying points. So, what some folks don't realize is there's not just one rate available. So what happens is when you talk to a mortgage banker, they're basically looking at like a table or a chart
Yeah.
of a whole bunch of different rates that are available. And if you want to get a lower rate, you can do that and pay an extra fee. Now, a lot of the folks that I'm talking to are choosing not to do that because they're kind of banking on their rates could go down at some point in the future, and then they'll
And they'll refi.
refinance.
Yeah.
So,
So
but some people are say, I don't know if rates are going to go down. I'll pay the fee. I'll take the lower rate. So you can do that if you want to.
yeah, I bring that up because the 6.7 by year end, which JP Morgan, it's available now if somebody really wanted to get it now. I mean, so really the rates are not going to change much throughout the year is what JP Morgan is saying. Hey, the rates are what they are. That's going to be the case all year. So there's a lot of buyers right now that are like, I'm going to wait for rates to come down. Or here's the other one I keep hearing, which is it's just like really misinformed, is you hear buyers say, I'm going to wait for home prices to come down. and I'm laughing because when you just look at how Connecticut is set up right now, it's not even remotely possible to, if things stay the same here throughout the year, to reasonably predict that home prices are going to move down. Okay, here's why. 4 out of 10 homes. So if you're in your car right now, every 10th home you pass, 4 of those do not have a mortgage on them. 40% of homes, single family homes, have no mortgage. The other 6 homes, 80+% of those have an interest rate below 6%. And it's about 60+% have an interest rate below 5%. There's a ton of really like homeowners that are in a strong position. The mortgaged homeowners, that 6 out of 10, they're dominated by FICO scores over 720. Just dominated by these high FICO scores right now. And it's been that way for years now. So if my house is now today worth $500,000 because my neighbor got $500,000 and I don't have a mortgage on it, why in the world would I ever sell it for $450,000? Like, I've seen comps in my neighborhood now that have sold for $500,000. This is the mindset of a homeowner. I've seen properties, homes in my neighborhood selling at $500,000 for the last 2 years. I don't have a mortgage. Why in the world am I ever going to sell it for $450,000 or $400,000? I have no pressure. The pressure of people taking whatever they could in 08, 09, those years was a completely flip-flopped inventory situation, tons of inventory, and everybody was underwater.
Yeah, it's kind of like why you never hear stories about landlords lowering people's rent. You know, you ever been renting a place and all of a sudden your landlord, like in the middle of the lease, the landlord calls you up and says, "You know what? We're going to take $50 a month off of your rent." It just doesn't happen. It's prices are very sticky once they go up. I mean, barring some kind of crazy economic catastrophe, they just don't go down very often.
Yeah, unless there's a black swan event. And right now, again, we have 70% less inventory than we had pre-pandemic. These are totally different times. The average homeowner has 54+% equity in their home. So the reason why we're not seeing a lot of homes on the market, although we see a slight uptick in new listings so far year over year, but nothing to bring us out of those historical low ranges. While we see no homes on the market, we still have a whole bunch of people that are pent up and, pent up demand, this huge millennial group of home buying age in Connecticut. But we have people that have these low interest rates, and unless they see a real need to move, they're just going to keep it.